So the Fed just cut rates for the third time this year. You'd think mortgage rates would be dropping too, right? Well, they're basically the same as they were 3 months ago. And meanwhile, 400,000 people are planning to move to Idaho in the next decade. 400,000. That's like in the entire population of Boise showing up again. So if you're thinking about relocating to Boise or you're already here trying to figure out what's happening, we should probably talk. Hey, I'm Sarah Breck, a Boise real estate agent here in the Treasure Valley. If you're considering a move to Boise or you're already navigating the market and wondering what the heck is actually going on, this one's for you. So let's get into it. Section 1, the Fed rate cut confusion. All right, let's start with the thing everyone's asking about. The Fed just cut rates again, third time this year. They dropped their benchmark rate by a quarter point, bringing it down to a range between 3.5 and 3.75%. Since September, they've dropped their rates by almost 2 full percentage points. That's a big deal, right? You'd expect mortgage rates to follow. Except they didn't. Mortgage rates, as of today, are sitting at 6.24% nationally, which is basically where they were back in September when all this rate cutting started. I know that sounds confusing, so let me explain it in a way that actually makes sense. Think of it like this. The Fed controls one type of rate, short-term rates. These are the rates banks use when they lend money to each other overnight. It's kind of like the wholesale price of money for banks. But your mortgage rate, that's long-term rate, like a 30-year commitment. And that rate gets set by regular investors in the bond market who are buying and selling mortgage-backed securities every single day. Those investors are looking at the big picture. Is inflation really under control? What's the economy going to be next year? What's happening with jobs? They're basically trying to predict the future and price in that risk. Right now, even though the Fed is cutting rates, those investors aren't totally convinced inflation is done. They're seeing mixed signals. Some economic data looks good, some looks uncertain. So they're keeping mortgage rates where they are as a buffer. Here's what this means in plain English. Mortgage rates are hovering near the lowest we've seen in over a year. Are they the crazy low rates of 2020? No. Those were once in a lifetime situation that we're probably never going to see again. But if you've been waiting on the sidelines for rates to drop 4 or 5%, you could be waiting a really long time. The market tends to reward people who make smart moves when conditions are good enough, not people who wait around for the perfect conditions that might never show up. I'm not saying to rush into anything, but I am saying don't let an imaginary future rate keep you from making a strategic move now. Section 2, November market data, the real story. Okay, let's get into what's actually happening here in Ada County. We're talking November stats from the BRR, because the numbers tell a pretty interesting story. Let's start with home prices. The median sales price was $562,000. That's up 7% compared to last year and up 2% from last month. So prices are still creeping up, but slowly, not dramatically like we saw a few years ago. Now here's what's interesting. The price increase was almost entirely by resale homes that are between 21 and 50 years old. You know, the homes with some history, probably updated kitchens, mature landscaping, solid bones. And in places like Kuna and Meridian, where fewer of those homes actually sold, prices went up more for that category. When there's less of something people want, they pay more to get it. New construction had a median price of $599,000. That's up almost 16% compared to last year. But hold that number, because we're coming back to new construction in a minute, and there's a real opportunity there. Now, how many homes actually sold? 690 total sales in November. 457 were resale, 233 were new builds. That's down 18.5% compared to October, but this is completely normal seasonal stuff. November and December always slow down. People are focused on holidays, wrapping up work for the year, getting kids through school before winter break. This isn't a warning sign, it's just the rhythm of real estate. What's worth noting is that new construction sales dropped about 28% from October to November. Kuna, Meridian, and Star all saw their new home sales decline. That tells me builders are sitting on more inventory as we head into the slower season. And this gives you a little insight going into 2026, whether builders are pulling back the reins a little bit to manage their inventory. But as we head through this winter season, this all tells me that there could be great opportunity for buyers who know how to negotiate. Let's talk inventory, because this is where things really get interesting. We've got 1,897 homes available right now in Ada County. That's up 24% compared to last November. More homes on the market means more choices for you and more room to negotiate. And get this, 54% of that inventory, more than half, is new construction. On average, those new builds are listed at around $788,000. But remember that median sales price I mentioned earlier for new construction? $599K. That's almost a $190,000 gap between what builders are asking and what homes are actually selling for. Now, builders have started cutting prices, not huge cuts, but you're seeing average like $10,000 off. They're testing the market. They've got inventory they need to move, quotas to hit before the year end, and buyers who understand negotiation has real leverage right now. One example, there's a subdivision in Kuna called Madrone Heights. Right now it has 50 homes sitting in inventory, and every single one of them is priced more than $100K below what the median new home sold for in November. I'm not telling you to run out and buy those, especially not without doing your research, but if you're a buyer looking for a value in new construction, this could be the type of intel that you need. Now let's talk about days on market. This one matters. Homes are taking an average of 49 days to sell right now. That's the longest we've seen all year. Resale homes are averaging 41 days. New construction is sitting at 65 days on average. Is this a bad thing? Actually, no. It's healthy. It means buyers aren't in a panic mode, throwing offers at everything. You have time to do your inspections, ask questions, think about your decision, and negotiate. The frenzy is gone, and honestly, that's a good thing. Resale homes in Boise proper are still moving the fastest. They have the lowest days on market in the whole county. But even those have been creeping up every month since June. The market is just finding its balance again. One more thing about Kuna that I think matters. For 6 months straight, Kuna has had the lowest median price for new construction in Ada County. If you're relocating and trying to stretch your budget, or if you want more space and land without totally blowing up your price point, Kuna deserves a serious look. It's not a tiny farm town it used to be. There's a lot of development, good schools, and you're still connected to everything in the valley. Section 3, what this actually means if you're relocating. All right, let's make this practical. What does all this data actually mean if you're relocating or thinking about buying? First, this is negotiation market right now. Days on market are up. Inventory is up. If you were worried about competing with 20 other buyers, waiving inspections, and writing emotional letters to seller, that's not where we are anymore. You have time. You have options. Use them. Second, being patient is actually paying off right now. Homes that are priced right and selling well are still moving, especially in desirable areas. But homes that are overpriced, they're sitting, and eventually sellers are adjusting their expectations. I've watched this play out so many times this year. Buyer finds a house they love. It's overpriced. They decide to wait. It doesn't sell. Price drops. They come back in with an offer below asking, and they end up with a better deal than if they jumped right away. Doesn't happen every time, but it's happening enough that patience and strategy are being rewarded. Third, and this is huge if you're looking at new construction, having a strategy matters more than it ever has. With over 1,000 new homes sitting in inventory and builders trying to move product, the buyers who understand how builder contracts work, who know how to negotiate upgrades, who can tell differences between value incentives and smoke and mirrors, those buyers are seriously saving money right now. Most people walk into a model home, fall in love with the finishes and the layout, and just sign the paperwork that the builder slides across the table, and they leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table in rate buydowns, closing cost credits, upgrade negotiations, lot premiums, all of it. And if you're buying remotely right now, which so many relocators are doing, you really need a framework for making decisions. You can't just do a video walkthrough and cross your fingers. You need to understand how subdivisions compare, what builders have solid reputations, what actually affects resale value, what the community infrastructure looks like, school quality, commute patterns, all of it. Of course, the absolute best way to do this is to hop on a call with me, but if you're not quite ready yet, I do have a new construction guide. It'll walk you through the most popular subdivisions here in town and give you tips on navigating the market. I'll put all those links below. Section 4, the bigger picture, Idaho's growth. Okay, let's pull back and look at the bigger picture for a minute because this really matters for long-term value. Right now, Idaho has about 2 million people. By 2034, so in 10 years, we're expected to hit 2.4 million. That's 400,000 more people moving here over the next decade. Idaho's growth rate is projected to be 4 times faster than the national average. And the bulk of that growth, it's happening right here in southwestern Idaho. The Treasure Valley is where people are landing. So yes, we're in a more balanced market right now compared to the absolute insanity of 2021 and 2022, when people were bidding $50K over asking sight unseen. But the demand isn't disappearing. The long-term trajectory is still pointing up. And this is important to understand. The people who build real wealth in real estate are usually the ones who buy when conditions favor buyers, like right now, when you have negotiation power and actual inventory to choose from, while the long-term fundamentals still support growth. That's the window we're in. You're not fighting off multiple offers, you can negotiate, but you're also getting in ahead of hundreds of thousands of people who are still planning their move here over the next decade. That's the real opportunity. It's not flashy or urgent, but it's strategic, and strategy is what actually wins. Section 5, local intel. All right, a few quick local updates that are worth knowing if you're moving here or already in the area. Let's talk about the healthcare industry. Some Treasure Valley hospitals are cutting back on traveling healthcare professionals starting in 2026 because costs are getting out of control. If you're in healthcare or thinking about relocating here for work, this is definitely something to look into. Fire district levies. So both Middleton and Star just voted on a levy to fund staffing for their brand new fire station, $22 million. It didn't pass. They needed 2/3 approval and didn't quite get there. So right now, the station is sitting empty. If you're looking at homes in those communities, just know where emergency services are actually coming from and what response times look like. Not a deal breaker, just information you should have. And something fun, the Sparrow Boise. This downtown hotel just landed on Condé Nast Traveler's list of the top 50 best hotels in the world. It's the only Idaho hotel that made the cut. And if you know Boise at all, this totally tracks. It's got local art throughout, coffee in the lobby, rotating food trucks on the patio, different brewery partnerships every month, an outdoor fireplace, games for guests. It's that casual but elevated thing Boise does really well. And if you're planning a scouting trip to check out the valley next year, it's a great place to stay and actually feel what the culture here is like. And actually, if you're planning a trip at all and want to make the most of it for 48 hours, I've got a free guide. I'll put that below. It goes over all my favorite businesses to check out. And if you are planning to come and look at a few homes, I give you some general guides and tips on how to maximize your time. So here's where we land. November's data shows a genuine window of opportunity for buyers who come in educated and ready to make smart moves. More inventory, more time to make decisions, more room to negotiate, but you need an actual strategy, not just excitement and hope. So if you're relocating to Boise and want a clear game plan for navigating new construction or buying out of state, I would love to chat. If you got any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments or reach out to me directly. And I am so excited for what 2026 brings.